Good morning, everybody. I decided to do a short little broadcast before I go to bed. I've been up all night and watching this thing that on the monitor behind me. It's trying to get stronger. It's really looking good. Not a whole lot of change as far as the info. Hurricane hunters are out there right now, so I won't get all that information until later this morning. Hey, Michelle. But at flight level, they have seen 80 plus mile an hour winds. Ground level, they have seen 62 mile per hour winds. That's all I've got so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. And you can't see it here in infrared, but this thing is actually trying to get an eye on it. And let me show you, this is the radar out of Puerto Rico. And look back over in here. Look at that wraparound. It's trying to get an eyeball on it. Now, naturally, the radar can't reach out far enough to get past this, but this kind of gives you a general idea. And I'll pause it here. Look at that eye. It's trying to form. And this thing is trying to wrap all around. Will it reach hurricane status before it hits Puerto Rico? Hard to say. If it does, it'll be a real weak one. But it is trying to get that eye. So that's a sign that it's strengthening. Also, here's something else I noticed this morning. Last night, remember there was some storms off to the right here. A big line of them. It was kind of separated. Now look how this thing is more compact. It's drawing everything in. And I'll pause this right there. You'll notice this stuff is going north. Yet the storm is a low pressure, which goes counterclockwise. What this is over in here, that's part of the wind shear that's out ahead of it. So I'll go ahead and let this roll on. Notice the fingers stretching out. That's your outflow. When it starts getting that kind of look around the edge with that outflow, that's definitely a sign that it's getting stronger. It's still only rated as 60 mile per hour winds in it officially. But like I say, the hurricane hunters are out there right now going through it. And by the next update, which would be in 3 hours, well, 2 hours from now, I got the feeling they will up this up. For it to be a hurricane, it's got to be above 74 miles per hour. There you can see, let me get my cam out of the way. $74 to $95 mile per hour winds would be Cat 1. So it's got to be at least 74. Hey, South Paul, Muddy. So can it reach that? Ground level winds, like I say, they are reporting 62 mile an hour winds. So I don't know if it'll reach that Cat 1 category. It could. But I'm not sure it's got a lot of time. So it's going to be later this afternoon. when it's going to hit Puerto Rico. Now notice the track of this. More and more, this core, the center, is going to miss Puerto Rico. Now, if it totally misses, the center of it totally misses Puerto Rico, that means it's going to stay out in warmer waters and it's going to get bigger. Now let's look at the forecast cone. It hasn't changed. But notice that it could go anywhere inside this cone. And they are predicting, as of right now, the latest models says this could be a Cat 2 by the time it gets up to Florida. So it can go anywhere from South Carolina down to Miami, Florida. Thanks, Molly. So anywhere in this cone, it could go. So we still got several days to look at this thing. But I wanted to let you all know what they're talking about this morning. Hey, Nathan. By golly, we might have a Cat 2 this weekend. It does look like it's going to go around Puerto Rico for the most part. That low center is right about there. That's just about where the center is. If it clips Puerto Rico, I think it's going to totally miss the mountains, because the mountains are more in the center going east and west. So it looks like it's not going to be affected by the highest mountain, which is 4,390 feet. So if it stays totally out on the east side, this thing's going to continue to get stronger. I'll know more later today. This last update was only intermediate update. Like I say, hurricane hunters are out there in it right now. So we'll hopefully get more information a little bit later. Now, as far as warnings go, Puerto Rico is totally under a hurricane watch and a tropical storm warning. And it looks like San Juan is going to get nailed with this wraparound. So that's the information I got this morning. Again, depending on how this thing steers, and I tell you, the key factors is there's a high pressure system, and it's going to come up in here as this thing gets closer to Florida. And depending on how strong or how weak that high pressure is, it's going to depend on how it steers. It could, if it's a strong high pressure, it's going to steer more this way, which some of the models are showing crossing Florida and going into the Gulf and then going up. Now, if it's a weak high, this thing will steer more this way. And those models has it making a sharp turn and then going back out to sea. So it's all going to depend how this high pressure acts up. And I see that's not drawing. Let me try this again. Okay, with this high, if that's a strong high, it'll steer more like this. And some models are saying it could go across and go out in the Gulf. Yeah, it's got spin to it. It's got definitely got spin. Now, if it's a strong high, it'll push it that way, where the yellow line is. If it's a weak high, this thing could come up here and take a sharp turn. Thing's got some good spin. Nice outflow around the edges. It's not pulling in that dry air like it did last night when I did a broadcast. For that high symbol. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, TS6, which is now Tropical Storm Irwin, is up here. It's not really moving around much. It's going to go northeast. It could skirt the coast as far as the outer wind bands. And if you notice here, got some tropical moisture being fed up, and there's a front right around here. Now, as that front moves east, that could also affect what these tropical storms do. Oh, yeah. You talking about Dorian? Or Irwin here? Yeah, it's kind of building to the south side of it. Yeah, Irwin's, it's building on the south side, so it kind of looks like it's going south. But eventually, it's supposed to go north. Boy, if this thing goes south and gets in the way of Dorian, that could change everything. But I think it's mainly just building to the south. Let's see what the info is on Aaron. Yeah, there's the cone for Aaron. That's what it's supposed to do. Latest info. It says moving northwest at 6 miles an hour. They haven't updated for the 8 o'clock. That's the 5 o'clock this morning. Yeah, it could, Nathan. It could definitely help steer it. It would change all of the models, though. The models are definitely showing that Irwin's going north, even though it doesn't look like it. But we'll know more a little bit later this afternoon. So, folks, that's really all I've got for this morning. I do need to get some rest because I've been up all night playing with the models. And it's really interesting. Let me go to those models that I've been playing with. Lady, if I can wake back up, I'll probably try to do a 2 o'clock this afternoon when that update comes out. Now here comes Dorian. This is the GFS. And it shows it really strong right there. Okay, Patty. But look what the GFS has it doing. It gets there at the coast, and then it shoots off. That's the GFS. Now let's look at the Euro, and we'll go lines of equal pressure. Start from the beginning. And here comes Dorian. Notice where it's at. It's Central Florida. Now this model run doesn't have it going out in the Gulf. The last model run had it going out in the Gulf. So it's getting close to what the GFS says. And that's the last of this model run for the Euro. Get this up. Okay, that's not right. Yeah, I always go by the Euro first. Change the region here. But it's cool that the GFS, and it was like Hurricane Barry. I kept going by the Euro until the GFS started getting, right close to the same thing. Okay, there's Dorian. Now this Euro model has it kind of disappears there at Puerto Rico, but then it starts re-strengthening, and it goes right over Florida. That would be headed right for Tampa. And then she turns away. So, folks, let's see what the time frame is, Nathan. Uh, Earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm winds. Good morning, Stacy. It looks like Saturday night. So on this particular one, now this is the earliest arrival of the tropical storm force winds. So the actual hurricane would probably be Sunday, I would say. Of course, this thing could speed up, it could slow down. Too early to tell. But it's either going to be a Saturday night or Sunday for landfall, the way it's looking. But like I was saying last night, my one broadcast, uh, yeah, if it turns left, it'll be earlier. Then it'd be headed down towards Miami and down in there. It all depends. If it stays on the right side of this cone, then most likely it's going to go up to Savannah, Georgia, or South Carolina, and that would be the long way. So it would be probably a Monday. But like I was saying last night on my one broadcast, it all depends on what happens when it gets past Puerto Rico. Once it gets past Puerto Rico, and especially if it stays on that track, notice how it's missing all of the Bahamas. So it's got plenty of fuel. These waters, the further it gets up there closer to Florida, you're talking mid upper 80s in water temp. Some areas as much as 90. So the warmer that water is, stronger it's going to get. So that's what we're looking at this morning. So with that, folks, I'm going to lay down, try to get me some rest, and if I can wake up in time, I will do it 2 o'clock this afternoon. The next update, it's 9:21 now, Eastern time. The next update will be 11 o'clock. I doubt if I can stay awake. But I'll try to do it 2 o'clock. If not, I should be able to do a 5 o'clock update. 5 o'clock should be another main update. Hey, Tim. The 8 o'clock tonight, that'll be intermediate update. So, anyway, thanks for joining me this morning. And as quick as I can get up and get the information ready for y'all, I will go live. Try to keep everybody up to date. I know there was a couple guys in my chat last night that lives in Puerto Rico. One in Ponce, which is on the southern side, and one in San Juan on the north side. And I'm really worried about San Juan. So, anyway, I'll say good morning, good night for me, and we'll catch y'all a little bit later. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day.